Formula One is no stranger to rivalries, but this weekend's Canadian Grand Prix saw the most bizarre back and forth yet. Jacques Villeneuve launched an unexpected and scorching critique of Daniel Ricciardo, setting the motorsport world ablaze. His heated commentary spread like wildfire, igniting debates and intrigue across the F1 community. And since then, Jacques Villeneuve has unleashed yet another barrage against Daniel Ricciardo, bringing their war of words to new heights. Even though no driver is safe from being wounded by Villeneuve's sharp tongue, his most scathing critique was reserved for Ricciardo, who has been struggling to regain his former glory since his 2023 return with Visa Cash App RB, the junior team of Red Bull. Once a standout during his 5-season stint with the main team, the 34-year-old has faced a challenging comeback, and Villeneuve didn't miss the chance to embarrass him. When he was asked about where Ricciardo will be at season's end, this is what he had to say. Why is he still in F1? We are hearing the same thing now for the last 4 or 5 years. We have to make the car better for him. Poor him. Sorry, it's been 5 years of that. No, you're in F1. Maybe you make that effort for Lewis Hamilton, who's won multiple championships. You don't make that effort for a driver that can't cut it. If you can't cut it, go home. There's someone else to take your place. That's how it's always been in racing. It's the pinnacle of the sport. There's no reason to keep going and to keep finding excuses. But the Canadian didn't stop there. Not one to be satisfied by only talking about Ricciardo's form since his post-McLaren comeback, Villeneuve proceeded to eviscerate the Aussie's entire career. His relentless takedown left no stone unturned as he torched Ricciardo's legacy in the sport. He was beating a Vettel that was burnt out, that was trying to invent things with the car to go win and just making a mess of his weekends, he said. Then he was beating for half a season Verstappen when Verstappen was 18 years old, just starting. Then that was it. He stopped beating anyone after that. I think his image has kept him in F1 more than his actual results. Villeneuve's smackdown landed on Friday, but Ricciardo fired back in style. He responded on the track with an impressive P5 in qualifying the next day. Off the tarmac, he went to work, taking aim at the former racer, saying, "I still don't know what he said, but I heard he's been talking shit. But he always does. I think he's hit his head a few too many times. I don't know if he plays ice hockey or something. I won't give him the time of day, but all those people can suck it. I want to say more, but it's all right. We'll leave him behind." Villeneuve immediately took credit for Danny Ric's Sunday success. He said right after qualifying that his verbal rocket had ignited Ricciardo's form, leading to his first points of the season on Sunday. But he wasn't done slandering the RB Cash App driver. The former champion had more to say, accusing the 8-time winner of being unprofessional in his response. His reaction was a little bit personal, and he's a role model, he said. Like all these 20 drivers, you're at the top level. You have to be responsible in your answers, professional. Kids are listening to you. You cannot make it personal. I'm happy to have learned that I knock myself out too often playing ice hockey, but ultimately, you will get criticism. You need a thick skin. I got under his skin, but it got better for his driving. It's completely unprofessional and has nothing to do with the business, and it can be personally insulting, which is amazing. If he says that someone hit his head playing ice hockey, how constructive and how professional is that? It's very childish, and people like Daniel are role models, and they think that's the right way to act. You have to be careful with that. I found that really strange when someone says I don't care what people say. You need to have tough skin. In F1, you will be criticized, and you have to take it. Don't say something childish and insulting. Despite a penalty, the Australian secured his first points of the 2024 season in the race, but Villeneuve wasn't ready to ease up on his criticism. The 53-year-old had more to say. Ultimately, the results have not been there. He was really good at Red Bull, and since he left them, it's been very difficult, and his return hasn't been flamboyant. He had a good qualifying session, and then an okay race yesterday marred by the false start when he got a penalty, and in the end, he scored points because drivers in front of him messed up. Obviously, I got under his skin, because it made him go faster, and even Christian Horner thought that it gave him a bit of a boost, and maybe he needed that. At least he got a lot of media mileage out of this. What I find incredible is the reaction that some of these drivers have nowadays in the media. Despite his perhaps ironic comments about Ricciardo getting media hype, Villeneuve doubled down on his initial criticisms of the 8-time race winner, leaving no doubt about where he stands. I have no idea why Ricciardo is so protected, but he has a huge aura around him. Good for him, but imagine if he could back that up with results. He's not lived up to expectations, and he's not consistent, so he knows it's not up to speed, and he hasn't had results that have been good enough. It's that simple. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Saying it might hurt, but you're in F1. Just take it and move on. The truth hurts. While Villeneuve is known as one of the paddock's most outspoken and opinionated personalities, a role he's fully embraced by the way, there's no denying that Ricciardo has been a usual target of his critiques. The Canadian has been belittling the Australian driver for years, making Ricciardo a regular subject of his aggressive statements. One incident was when Ricciardo made his comeback mid-season last year at the expense of Nick de Vries. Villeneuve told Canal+, he did some political background work with Helmut Marko that de Vries didn't see coming. Well done. On the other hand, it's impressive for a return to Formula 1. A big smile and Instagram are enough to drive these magnificent cars. It's incredible. No other driver after 4 pitiful seasons was allowed to return to Formula 1. And before this season had kicked off, the Canadian was already on the Australian's case, saying, Ricciardo is a pure product of image and modern social media. You can't base his long career on results. You just can't. They don't stack up. It is amazing. He can thank Netflix and all that kind of stuff. His smile, his attitude in the paddock in front of the camera. Ultimately, even against Tsunoda, he doesn't do brilliantly. But he brings value to F1, and that's why he is there. There are many drivers who are as quick as him, but don't have his image, so you might as well take the one with the image. Despite Villeneuve's claims that Ricciardo is putting the onus on the team to provide a better car, the Aussie has countered by stating that he's been extremely self-critical in his quest for consistent high-quality performances. I look at myself first, he said. You're always trying to fine-tune the car, but I feel like it's more just getting myself in that sweet spot. Maybe 10 years ago it came easier. Maybe when you're a kid, you just jump in and drive, and the older you get, the more things that are around your life and you're involved in can maybe interfere. He later doubled down on this, admitting that he went in deep introspection after finishing a lackluster 12th in Monaco, especially on an afternoon when his teammate Yuki Tsunoda earned points. I was always looking at the on-track stuff. I can brake later here, or do this, he said. But it was like, okay, what are some things that are affecting my performances? Am I coming into a race weekend not feeling energized or not feeling this or that? I probably had a good bit of self-therapy after Monaco. I sat back and had to look at maybe the things I'm doing wrong away from the track, maybe giving too much time away to people, and by the time I get to race day, I'm a little bit more flat. I'm trying to take as much accountability as possible. I got into this weekend in Canada feeling certainly a bit lighter, and just hungry and happy, and ready to say fuck you. What do you think? Is Jacques Villeneuve judging Daniel Ricciardo a bit too harshly, or has he hit the nail on the head with everything he's said so far? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the hottest F1 news.